And our breaking news coverage continues of a new wildfire that has the town of Greer evacuated tonight, with reports that several buildings have burned.
We're watching this closely. Flames have spread to more than 2,000 acres since the fire first sparked this morning. Mayor's now officially declaring a state of emergency in Eager and Springerville, with those wind-driven flames heading northeast right towards them. Mandatory evacuations tonight in Greer and South Fork. Other families in the area on standby. Air attack efforts grounded tonight because of the strong winds. Here's a live look from Springerville tonight. It's about 15 miles northeast of Greer. You can see the plume of smoke there. And to the left, that dome is the Round Valley Evacuation Center. And we've just been keeping an eye on this. It's pretty ominous to see that fire spreading so fast.
And we want to give you a better look at where this fire is burning north of Greer, which is in one of the most beautiful parts of our state. About a 4-hour drive from the valley and a favorite retreat for a lot of Arizona families.
We have live team coverage for you. Paul's got a look at the highway closures, so heads up on that. Holly's tracking the winds and fire conditions. First, we're live on the phone right now with Bob Pollock, who lives in the area. Bob, where are you right now and what are you seeing?
About a half-mile north of downtown, the downtown area of Greer, and most of the fire has left the Greer area. I can still see smoldering smoke on the hillside, but the main column of smoke has, as you mentioned, moved to the northeast towards Round Valley.
Bob, that's really encouraging news, because when we last checked with fire officials, that's what they were hoping was going to happen, that the flames, the bulk of this fire, would stay north of Greer proper and continue in that direction. I know evacuation orders were given to the town of Greer. Did any of your friends and neighbors evacuate, or did most people stick in town to try and defend their homes if the flames moved toward them?
I think most of the people to the south of the fire had sheltered in place because the winds were blowing it to the northeast, and we were told that both directions of 260 has been closed. So I think most of the people in Greer proper have remained here. Several of my neighbors are here. I can hear generators throughout the neighborhood because electricity's been off since the fire started about 10:35 a.m. this morning.
Wow. Okay. So the other thing that we've been keeping in mind is the two largest fires in state history have been in the Greer area. Folks who may be watching at home right now, not familiar, the White Mountains are surrounded by the Apache Sitgreaves National Forest, which has those beautiful ponderosa pines, but that is sadly very heavy fuel for a fire of this size. How close is your home to the tree line?
Oh, probably 200 or 300 yards from where the fire began. Again, no consolation to the people who were in the path of the fire, but many of us were upwind of the fire. And fortunately, there weren't too many cabins in the path of the fire, but again, not a consolation to the people who had property that was.
Bob, we're looking at some of the photos that you sent into us or into Royal Norman earlier today. In at least one of the photos, we see a helicopter making a water drop, but we were told that the air tankers were grounded because of the strong winds. When was the last time, if you can sort of guesstimate it for us, when was the last time you saw any kind of air support helping the crews on the ground?
Well, first of all, hats off to that pilot, because he was flying in some tremendous winds. But I'm thinking in that 12:30, 1 o'clock range, it just got to be too windy, and he stopped going over to the Greer Lakes with his bucket and picking up water. But kudos to that pilot.
Yeah, when you're dealing with the terrain out there, that's, I think, what State Forestry said is the biggest downside is the powerful winds and not being able to attack this continuously from the air. In your time kind of getting to a safe zone and everything and moving around town, they have told us that several structures have burned. Have you seen anything yourself firsthand? Were you able to put eyes on anything? Did you see any of the damage firsthand?
I did, but I would refer you to the appropriate fire agencies for that information. Back during the Wallow fire, there was so much misinformation that came out that alarmed people. I would refer you to the fire agencies.
For sure, and we're certainly hoping they're able to attack this quickly in spite of the winds, and this doesn't do anything near the damage the Wallow fire did many years ago. Bob Pollock, thanks so much for your eyes on the ground, your eyes for us and all of our viewers, because we have so many families here who have homes in that area wondering what's going on. And we just keep showing these live pictures of that huge plume of smoke, people wondering what is going on in Greer. And we really appreciate your firsthand perspective. And we hope you stay safe in the hours ahead. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
And as we were talking to Bob Pollock from Greer, Holly, we just got an update. They keep remapping the size of the fire. Last check, it was 2,500 acres. Now they've upped that to about 3,600 acres in size. And Holly, you've been watching the winds, all of this driven by the winds today.
Jared, that's significant, right? Because this fire started today, so it just continues to grow. It seems like we keep getting these updates with that fire map that keeps growing. And of course, the winds out there definitely playing a massive role in how the crews can fight this fire. Wind gusts in the closest gauge near where that fire is burning still shows winds about 50 miles an hour, gusting about 50 miles an hour. It's very dry in this area, and even a stronger wind gust just up northeast towards Springerville around 2-3 o'clock, 67-mile-an-hour wind gusts in that area. So these are southwesterly winds pushing up, like you heard him there on the phone say, kind of pushing that fire and smoke up to the northeast. But still, look at these wind gusts in eastern Arizona in the 30-mile-an-hour range at this point. That area where the fire is burning is still under that red flag warning. That will continue now through tomorrow. We have wind advisory still in effect for northern Arizona, and that high wind warning just north of that Greer area. That's still in effect to today. We assumed we would see some wind gusts to about 60, maybe 70 miles an hour. And like I showed you there, we got one at 67. So that fire pushing up to the north and to the east. Temperatures outside right now a little bit cooler than yesterday. We're actually tracking 80s, guys, for the valley as high temps tomorrow. We'll break that down in your first alert 7-day forecast.
Holly, thank you. And Paul's taking a look at the closures on the freeways out there.
Yeah, some big closures up near the Greer area. And let's show you the map here, our first alert traffic update with the 260. And at first, they had eastbound lanes closed as you were heading towards the Greer Eager area, but then they shut down both lanes of traffic. We'll zoom in a little closer. You can see how big this backup is and how big the closure is. A 15-mile stretch of the 260. And the scary thing about Greer is the 260s, the access to get in and out of town once you get up north of 373. So definitely a big closure in that area. Only emergency vehicles are allowed in that region. And Holly mentioned the winds. The wind's actually picking up the dust across the valley as well.